Hello, coaches. Wanted to do this video to show you how we use our business activity not business activity, business metrics, business something. But basically, I created a tracker earlier this year, I think, or maybe late last year, where we could just plug in all of our information from all of our PV, our left leg volume, right leg volume, carryover volume, income, coaches added, and kind of coaches in your downline and their rank, and how you can get all that information and how you can upload that into this tracker that I created, and it'll spit out some really cool information to understand where you should be positioning your next coaches as you sign up, and also just to track like what's going on in your business. Are you still moving in the right direction? Are things moving? Are they continually increasing, or are you flatlining? So or going in the wrong direction. So I'm going to share my screen here, and hopefully you can see this. So I've created in a couple different formats. I've got a Google Sheet, and I'll share this. I'll share both formats with everyone. But basically, I've got a Google Sheet. If you aren't an Excel person, Google Sheets, as long as you have a Gmail account or a Google account, you can access all of this. Otherwise, I've got an Excel version if you're more of an Excel junkie. So what I'm going to show you here is this tracking document, and I'll share this. When you do open this yourself, I believe all you need to do is just copy and paste, or file. You can possibly save as a new one, rename, but basically what you're going to do is you're just going to kind of copy the information that's in here into your own spreadsheet. So here is kind of the basic layout of what the tracking document looks like. So this first tab is our volume. So on here we've got all of our volume details. We've got my left leg volume, my right leg volume, my average PV volume, and then Laura's. So first off, if you have a significant other, if you have a husband's account, I highly recommend that you track their information too. One of the greatest things that we've seen in our business, especially from an income standpoint, is the amount of income that's grown through my account because of some effort that we put into growing some coaches and getting some people into my weaker legs, so that we would cycle more and create some more regular income throughout my business account. So sign up your spouse, sign up a significant other, have control of multiple business accounts. So I'm sure we're going to talk about all that later, though. So here is this information. I'm just going to put in some dummy numbers here, just to kind of give you an idea of how this thing will work when you start plugging in your own information. So we became coaches back in 2012. So 5 years ago. So you can obviously delete and start wherever you need to start. But basically what you're going to look at is each week you'll plug in new information. So I'm just going to go into, let's see, what would be the latest one? 8:30. So I've got a few weeks ahead here. So I'm going to say Laura's left leg volume was 2,500. Laura's right leg volume was 2,000. Her PV was 300. Her carryover volume was 200, and her right leg volume was 3. For myself, I'm going to say I was at 1,000 and 1,800 and 200, and I've got a lot of carryover volume because I was a discount coach for a very long time. So I'm just going to put 10,000 in there, but it's way more than that. So get Emerald, stay active, and you'll get that bank account going. And 5. So what you can see is the way this spreadsheet is set up. what happens is all of that information automatically gets populated up here. And so it's really easy to just come into this thing and go, okay, Dan's left leg volume average is 1,000, his right leg is 1,800, 200, 2,500, and as you start, you can imagine as you start plugging in more numbers, those things are going to change. So I don't have carryover volume up there, so I'm just going to kind of like glance over that one. The benefit of tracking carryover volume is to understand if one of your legs is producing a lot more volume than the other leg. So if you start racking up a lot of volume, like I mentioned I've got in one of my legs, that's telling you that you probably need to work on building some volume in your weaker leg. So that is just something that to pay attention to. So you can see now everything's going to kind of flow up to this top area and average out. And on top of that, there's also another line down here. Basically, I don't know why I did this. In my head, it made sense, but all the information that you have down here is basically at the top. The only benefit here would maybe be if you're going for a leach, you can look at your total volume that you've produced and see how that has changed from 2016 to 2017 or whatever those things are. But you've got all the averages down here also at the end of 2017. So that's going to be your first tab that you're going to plug in. I'd recommend doing this weekly. It honestly, if you don't know where to find this information, it's under my business, my volume, and then what you're going to look at. And if you've got a long ways to go and a lot of information to upload, you can export this whole document. Like you can look down and I've got every single line all the way back to July 11th of 2012, where I bought a bag of Shakeology, another bag of Shakeology, and another bag of Shakeology, and I've got no volume over there. You can export that into Excel. And then what you can do is just copy and paste these columns. It'll be much easier if you export it to Excel and then upload it into that document, copy and paste it in, because in this format it's going to copy the entire row, and you really don't need to do that. So that's where you're going to find your volume. The next tab, let me hop back over to the document, is income. So if you're not tracking your income, you don't know if you're making more money this year than you were last year. And it's crucial to understand your business, to figure out if you're growing, if you're moving in the right direction. So I'm just going to plug in some numbers here. Weekly paychecks, 400, 800, 1,000. Good job, Laura. And then we'll go like 400, 3. And because I'm lazy, I'm doing it that way. So I plug in 4 weeks here. Basically what's going to happen is all of those numbers are going to auto-populate up here. It's going to give you total income for the entire year. You can look at that based off of what you did last year. And then you can also look at your weekly averages, which I think is probably even more important. Like, to look at your total income mid-year is going to be kind of a struggle to figure out if you're on pace to make more money or not. It might be very obvious, it might not. But if you look at your weekly averages, that is where you're going to notice if you're making more money this year than you were last year, and then if your income is growing. So this is a fantastic chart to look and see where your income is heading. Also at the end of the year to go, okay, I made $20,000 this year, I made $5,000, I made whatever that number is. Once again, all of those numbers are also down here. Next tab. This is important because this is really where you'll start seeing some income growth when you start adding coaches to your team, especially adding business builders to your team. So this is where we track all of our coaches that are coming into our organization and how many people we're signing up as coaches on a monthly basis. So this one just happens. So it just rolled over to September 3rd. So this would be where we would update our August numbers. Let's say Laura added 4 coaches and I added 2. And then 3 and 1, and then June we are terrible and just added 2 coaches. For some reason the sum isn't over here, so I'll change that and make sure it totals up for you. But you can also see up here is Dan's total, Dan's monthly average, Laura's total, Laura's monthly average. So you can see once again, like, are you improving? That's like the main thing with this whole document is, are you consistently getting better and getting better at increasing your income, increasing your volume, increasing the coaches that you're adding to your team? And then this next sheet is like the coolest sheet that is on this whole document, because this is where you will understand how much volume is in each leg, how much volume you're generating on a weekly basis in each leg, and then understand where your business builders for your organization are, so you can really see it all in front of you, so you're not having to toggle between a ton of different things and figure out, okay, how much volume's here, how much volume's there, where do I need my next builder? All that information will be right here in front of you. So what I would recommend doing here is probably only putting on your business builders or people that you think will likely build the business. So what you would do here is add in anybody's name. So Laura's left leg, I won't plug names in here because I'm just going to butcher names and spellings and all that stuff. So anyways, let's just pretend Laura's got a diamond on this leg, she's got an emerald on this leg, and then we can fill in like 3 more coaches that are kind of working the business, running groups, and whatever else. On this leg, she's got, I think this is where I'm at. This is where Heidi's at, and Amber Cox, and a couple other coaches. So then you'd lay out all of those coaches on this leg, and you could see how your volumes are. So we'll get into this, I'm sure, a little bit, and we'll do some more training on where to position coaches based on your volume and rank and where you should like that balance. But this is really where you can understand what your business looks like, so that you can understand where to put your next business builders, where to put your next discount coaches, whether or not you should be shooting for rank in your account, in your husband's account, or building volume. So it's just a really cool place. And what happens is all of these volume averages, because that's really the key to building income, is creating volume in your legs of your organization. So so likely, what you would be looking at is, okay, I've got 2 diamonds over here, or I've got 2 potential diamonds here. I've got like 1 shaky emerald here. I've got a solid emerald and a solid emerald, and my husband's account is doing pretty good. I want to really solidify my diamond, so let's try to maybe put my next business builder in that leg. And then you would look at it, okay, my husband's weak leg, I'm averaging, I'm not going to delete my formula, but say your husband's weak leg volume is 50 PV every single week, and their strong leg PV or team volume is 1,000 every single week. So you're just rolling up that carryover volume in your husband's account, and you're not able to take advantage of all of those cycles that you could potentially be taking advantage of. You would look at that and you go, whoa, that volume balance isn't there. So therefore, I should dump some more discount coaches, possibly a good business builder, into that husband's or significant other or family member, whoever's account you're kind of managing, into that weak leg, so that I can up their volume, get more team cycle bonuses. Plus, it all kind of plays up into your account as you being the head of the organization. So that is the document. Hopefully you know enough about like Excel and stuff to know how to add rows, delete columns. One thing, just be careful, don't just delete these whole columns, otherwise it'll delete everything down here too. You'll have to very carefully delete these. And if you have questions after you start moving stuff around, if stuff doesn't jive anymore, feel free to reach out to me and I can try to troubleshoot it for you a little bit. But basically what you're going to be looking for is you've got equations here. So this average is basically saying equals to cell G53, which is going to be this cell down here. So just kind of pay attention to that. That'd be the first place to troubleshoot if you start moving stuff around. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that gives you a better understanding of how to track your business. We'll go into why this is super important a lot more, but this is a good starting point, and I highly, highly, highly recommend if you want to make money in this business, you have to track. You have to understand if you're improving. So there you go. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to sign off as soon as I can find my little screen that says stop.